good morning, everyone. This is, full disclosure, my first WordCamp in Europa Park. And somehow I ended up with like 2 keynotes, so let's make the most out of it. So I am James. I lead the WordPress products and the Nova AI Builder themes at WebPros. We also run WebPros Insights, which is a platform that crawls 2 billion host names every month. So, and the interesting thing is that the data that tells us is more interesting than any opinions that I've heard about WordPress so far. So today we're going to talk a lot about numbers. So let me show you where things stand today. So first thing first, WebPros Insights. So what is it? It is our brand new data analytics platform, which combines our web crawler, which some of you may have heard of, and our internal panel telemetry, because we own like multiple panels. And with that, we get to see quite a few things. So first thing first, 2.3 billion crawls every month and growing, number of host names. And out of those, almost 1 billion is active. Besides that, we also track 1.6 trillion visits from our in-panel telemetry. So today, when you hear like all the WordPress numbers that I'm giving you, this is where it's coming from. Now, WordPress specifically, out of the 1 billion active website, 100 million is WordPress as their primary CMS, and that is 67% of websites that we have seen with a CMS. And 1 in 5 of those is on a WebPros panel. So that gives us direct visibility into what they're running, how they perform, and what's threatening them. So here's where it gets interesting. So what we are seeing is that WordPress number of sites actually peaked in the middle of last year. And it's on a slow, gradual decline since then. Well, year on year, if you look at it, it's still higher than the year before, so it's not a crisis, but it's something to watch out for. So moving on to the hosting landscape for WordPress, we say there's 100 million WordPress websites. So we detected more than 1,100 hosting companies competing for them. That's number one. Number two, we see that the top 5 hosting providers, they control 47% of the market. And there are only 14 providers which across 1 million WordPress websites that they host. And what about the mid-sized providers? Mid-size as in, we'll classify it as between 10,000 sites to 1 million WordPress websites. Collectively, they control 30% of the market, and there are 254 of them. I'm sure a lot of you are in that category. Maybe some of you are in the top 5, but generally, you are all within that range, I think. So that's what we see on hosting. So inside the WordPress plugin ecosystem, again, we get data from our crawler and our telemetry, and this is the top 10 widely used WordPress plugins that we see today. What I want to go into is some analytics that we've done based on all this data, and then we'll share more with you. So first thing first, nearly 40% of all WordPress websites have a page builder plugin installed. Number two, 1 in 5 of them are running WooCommerce, which is quite a lot of online stores there. And 81%, that is more than 4 in 5, does not even have a security plugin installed, any form of it, we've checked. And overall, we see more than 1 million distinct plugins installed across all these websites. And most of them don't even have 1,000 installed in total. Make of that what you will. So this is where the WordPress stands today. Recently, we, together with our partner Cloud Linux, we did a survey among about 400 over hosting providers as well. And based on that data, there are 3 signals that we think matter to your business right now. So signal number 1, managed WordPress hosting is becoming baseline. So why do we say that? So 49% of hosting providers are telling us that they're already offering managed WordPress hosting. It is the number 4 most common hosting product after shared hosting, VPS hosting, and dedicated hosting. And 28% of hosting provider actually says that this is their single biggest growth opportunity in the next 2 to 3 years. So what's the bottom line here? Your customers are already expecting managed WordPress hosting. So the question is, are you offering it? Next signal, security. We always look at security as a technical problem, right? So, but we're increasingly seeing that it's a churn problem as well. So 53% of providers are saying that vulnerable plugins are their top security challenge. 19% of your customers actually leave after a security incident. And 65% of hosting providers name automated security detection as the most wanted capability. So your customers are leaving not because of price. They're leaving because something broke. And then we come to signal number 3. Speaking of leaving, it's about churn, right? So 41% of providers are reporting to us that they have customers leaving for SaaS website builders. But that's just one part of the picture. A lot of them are also leaving for fully managed WordPress experience, right? Where the provider handles everything and the product just feels effortless to use. So when a customer moves to a traditional hosting provider, the path back is pretty simple. You compete on service, you compete on price. But when it comes to experience, it gets much, much harder for them to come back. And with that, we also see that platform migration is the second most common churn reason. To close the gap, 23% of hosting providers name AI-assisted onboarding as the capability that they want the most. Another bottom line, so when your customer leaves for a simpler experience, price alone will not bring them back. You need better experience, right? So at WebPros, how are we responding to this? We have 3 signals. So coming to signal number 1, we built WP Squared as the answer to signal number 1. It is the fastest way for hosting companies to offer managed WordPress hosting with a modern UI, with everything that you need included so you can get started quickly. So I do want to share today that we are introducing a new, what we call a low-density license, retailing at $25 per server with 10 sites included. And this is designed for how agencies use WordPress hosting. It's also perfect for VPS hosting. Now, we have a standard license that we always have. We have now renamed that as a high-density license. It's retailing for $85 per server, and we've bumped up the included site from 10 to 50. This is built for hosting providers offering high-density WordPress environments, right, at scale. Now, if you want to expand, maybe you want to go to a new market, or maybe your hosting is not really your main business. You want to expand your offering. You want to enter new markets. But you don't want infrastructure costs, you don't want a headache, you don't want to maintain it. We recently introduced what we call Managed Cloud for WordPress as well. It is our wholesale platform of WP Squared, powered by WebPros Cloud, and is available today. So Managed Cloud for WordPress is available right now to all of our hosting partners, while the low density and high density self-hosted license is available soon. If you are a hosting partner, feel free to reach out to your account manager if you're interested in any of that, and we'll get you set up. Now, moving on to our response to signal number 2, we talk about 65% of hosting providers wanting automated security detection. And we actually have that for free with WP Toolkit. So WP Toolkit has detection included with every WebPros panel, that means cPanel, plus WP Squared, is powered by Hashtag and WordFence database, and you get the most up-to-date database at all times. And we are building a new WP Toolkit WordPress plugin where we're shifting the functionality of WP Toolkit from the panel inside into WordPress admin. So then your customers don't have to log into the panel to do anything that they need, right? And again, we're starting with vulnerability detection in there as well. So your end users can just go into WordPress admin and they'll be able to see, oh, my plugins or themes or whatever is vulnerable to this vulnerability, and then they can take action, right? They can update or do something with it. So that is all coming in early April, so stay tuned for that. Besides that, a lot of providers are not aware that you can also upsell vulnerability protection to your end users. And that is at zero cost. So you only pay when your customers actually activate it. So what they get is automatic mitigation by Hashtag. That means, all of their vulnerable plugins, themes, WordPress core, they're all mitigated automatically anytime when there's a new mitigation rules added by Hashtag. So this one is available today. So again, if you're a partner, speak to your account manager because you may be leaving revenue at the table. And one last thing is that protection is included when you use WP Squared for free. So signal number 3 is about churn, right? So the experience is a problem. WP Squared sort of solves that problem. But what we're building now is to answer the problem of getting them in the first place, right? So we're building self-service website import. So your users can actually just take their WordPress admin login, put it in, and we'll handle the rest. We'll migrate the content, the plugins, the theme, everything as it is. No FTP, no manual migration, saves your support team time. If you're an agency, saves you time to migrate. And they can actually preview their website with a temporary domain before they go live. This will be available later this week. So the numbers you see today tell you where WordPress stands right now. So in 2 weeks, WordPress 7.0 is shipping with AI built directly into core. So what does that mean for your business? We'll come back here, 4:30, where I have a next talk called WordPress in the Age of AI, and we'll talk a lot more about that. And by the way, what you have seen today, the numbers, is just a slice of what WebPros Insights track. So we have always been keeping this data internally and share it like in conferences and all, but we are going to open up this data set to everyone. So you just need to scan the QR code, join our short research interview, and you'll be one of the first to access the full data set. Thank you. See you at 4:30.